Welcome back, everybody, to CCA action here. The second of 4 games, but the first of 3 for Red Emberz. Yes, you hear that right. Red Emberz is playing back-to-back-to-back. And their first matchup is against Night Sharks. My name is Kyon. Nikki this time joins me on the mic. Nikki, how are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing fantastic. We got a lovely day for some amazing matches from Red Emberz up in Division 1. It's going to be exciting. Looks like we're hopping right into the prep sheet. Let's take a look at some keys to victory. Keon, do you want to take over for Red Emberz side of the prep sheet?
Yeah, I can rapid fire this one. Their keys to victory: win key fights against their Charger player. Try to play a fast and aggressive comp to overwhelm their opponents, and coming in and playing with a good mental. Highlighting the third point because this is the first of 3. They got to keep that mental sharp throughout the rest of throughout their back-to-back-to-back. Nikki, what do they have? What does Night Sharks have for their keys to victory?
Well, apparently Night Sharks have been they seem to be a little overconfident here, just with one key to victory. Just simply be better than the enemy team, which frankly, I mean, like, you can't argue with that, right? Just be better, just win. So we got 2 really big teams playing against each other. Obviously, like Red Emberz, Night Sharks, they're both seasoned Div 1 veterans at this point. Red Emberz taking 3rd overall last season in Division 1. So Red Emberz is not a team to be messed with. They're actually the highest ranked team, or the highest seeded team this season. So, like, it's gonna be a super exciting match, I think. We got 2 of the biggest names within CCA going up against each other, and with no time to waste, we're hopping right into the first game on Splat Zone's Mahi.
Yeah, Splat Zone's Mahi will be our first map of this one. Night Sharks on your orange yellowish color side. Red Emberz, your number 1 overall seed of this league, will be on the blue. I take a look at the weapons right out of the gate there. I am noticing a few things. Most of all, Corona's on the ink brush duties. Of course they are. Love Trial with the squeezer on that side. For the side of Night Sharks, Nautilus, 52 Gale, and the Zeko Firefin scope, the weapons I'm eyeing on to kick off this one. Night Sharks starts off with the first cap of this set.
Yeah, an early advantage for Night Sharks, it seems like. Finding 2. Thoughtful here's being really aggressive, finding another one, and the only one left is that ink brush, but they don't seem to have eyes on them. Up on Snipe, Corona's going to try to make a play here with the Whales, although with little team support, it seems like they're just going to have to throw those out and back up while they wait for more team support, while Night Sharks continues to get more points here. Although it does look like they're starting to flip the zone around.
Yeah, but the question is if they can keep this one up here. Is it's going to be 2 down right out of the gate for Night Sharks as the water level drops at that critical time. As Love Trial will be able to follow this one up soon. Just a bit of a slow start there for Night Sharks out of the gate, for Red Emberz out of the gate. But Red Emberz will get the zones capped and at this stage. Now we got to see if they can keep this one up there. They got one members on both sides. Corona Beer is going to be the one to always keep an eye on. The Trizuka gets 2 in a clear path with the Nautilus and the Firefin scope. The 52 follows suit, and that is a heavy advantage for Red Emberz.
Yeah, Red Emberz is in a beautiful position right now, finding 3 amazing picks there. They have all the space and more to set up onto Night Shark's plat here. They're going to have to fall back a little bit as 2 go down and to avoid the strikes here. But still, like, getting that far up, that wasted so much time for Night Sharks. They lost the lead. Red Emberz is still getting points here. They're going to flip the zone here, so we have a bit more of a match here. Red Emberz are going to have a pretty substantial penalty to work through. But still, like, what an amazing play by Red Emberz there. They just really take a lot of space and just take a massive lead there.
Yeah, the fact they were able to build that massively with those two Trizuka shots just really changed the course of this push all along as they're running that double Trizuka cooler comp. But they are full front line, so as long as Night Sharks can find any sort of advantages via range, that will be huge. But Love Trial is going to be the one seeking through, gets another pick as well, and the second one not able to connect. And again, Red Emberz is still retaining control of the zone for as much as they can. Cooler's has been popped out on top of it. Soul's going to be the one clearing out some space on the right-hand side. Red Emberz is going to be playing this one a little patiently close to their zone, but this is Zone now popping out, not able to find a pick, and now has to slowly escape. But Red Emberz should be coming out of the penalty points here, and for sure now Night Sharks losing the 52 gal.
Yeah. Cooler online for Night Sharks here. This could be an opportunity for them to push in, especially with strikes online as well. They're going to have to move now if they want something to happen, though. Red Emberz is past their penalty. I say that as Night Sharks flip the zone yet again, giving Red Emberz... They just got through that massive penalty, but now they have yet another one to work through. And of them being 2 down here, with all members of Night Sharks being alive, this could be pretty rough for Red Emberz. They're going to have to play kind of passively here. I say that as they continue to find some amazing picks.
Yeah, but they just finally lose 2 in the grand scheme of things. Nifty's gonna be the one lurking from the backhand side here in this Mahi zones, and then running too close to the Trizuka shot again. Love Trial finding so much value out of those Trizukas each go around, and then this is gonna be the reset for Night Sharks. At this stage, they throw out the points such that they do know where both Trizuka owners were going to have it. But right now, Corona Beer is the one with the Ink Rush, able to with that Killer Whale in their pocket if they can find any advantages at the stage. Corona Beer just struggling for like a few seconds, but they should be able to take penalty points here. Trip Tricks aren't going to find value. In fact, they're just throwing it kind of across the board. And this is going to be Red Emberz. They're doing a good job pulling this one firm. They maybe will get the KO here if Red Emberz is not able to hold on, and this is 3 down. It's game over, and that'll be Red Emberz winning game 1 of the set.
Yeah, I thought Red Emberz did such a fantastic job at holding mid throughout that entire game. Even when they lost zone, like Night Sharks, they put up a valiant effort. They were consistently flipping the zone and giving Red Emberz a significant penalty. But every time they flipped the zone, it's as if Red Emberz just came right back in and took it back like it was nothing. So, like, Night Sharks, they stalled them out for a while, but, like, after that first push they had, which got them down to 54 points, it's like they never scored another point for the rest of the game. Red Emberz' defense, their ability to hold on to that, like, the zone in mid was just too much for Night Sharks to handle, it seems.
I feel like this is one of the case here, Nikki, where Red Emberz' Trizuka shots just got so much value and just kept swinging momentum in the other direction constantly. I just saw the beautiful picks there with the double Trizuka from earlier. Going back to that one is where you see the replay here of the final points of Red Emberz, where Night Sharks really tried their best to turn as much as they can. But I feel like this is a case where the Trizukas just kickstarted everything else, and then the rest of Red Emberz followed suit. I felt like that's what we saw in game 1.
I mean, yeah, I really can't put any better than that. Red Ember's use of Zook at that game was unrivaled, frankly. Not a wasted shot, not a wasted usage. Every single pop from the Zuka from either the shot or the squeezer found one, if not multiple picks. And that just gave Red Ember's unmatched tempo that Night Sharks were struggling to keep up with.
Yeah, now we load up to game 2 here. Inkblot, Art Academy, Target Control. Now this is again same four weapons out of Red Ember's side. So they're gonna run the double Trizuka again with the cooler there. The same-ish weapons from Night Sharks on that side. So I need to see if Night Sharks have any adjustments gameplay wise to make this one work. Corona Beer does at least trade with Nifty, so that's all it's gonna be. But there's a lot of space that has been cleared out there. Zola though flying too close. The 3 members have collapsed onto them. And this neutral state at least seems to be initial advantage for Night Sharks there. Nifty's just trying to see if they can find anybody else, but gonna have to slowly retreat. And we're kind of stuck into this neutral state here, Nikki.
Although with specials online coming from the Nautilus there, this could give them the potential they need to come back in, take some space in mid, and try to get a push going. It looks like Red Emberz tried to get something going. They got a whole 1 point on the board there. They're forced to immediately fall back. Strikes coming in from the side of Night Sharks. That's definitely going to force them out. Nifty finding a great pick there. It's going to be a trade. Not ideal, but it's better than just going down there. And now it looks like Night Sharks, they're taking the space they have, forcing one to jump out there. They're going to have a potential to push here.
Yeah, so yeah, the one thing I really want to hope to see here is if Night Sharks can try to find any sort of advantage they can get that they can. Nifty able to take one member out with that Trizuka shot, and that at least cleared enough space for Night Sharks so possibly to get through the first checkpoint for sure. Corona is going to be the one flanking from the side and is able to get everybody out of there, but it still gets value, actually taking out Nifty on top of it. That will be 2 down right out of the gate for Night Sharks. Now Zola's going to be the one moving up, and this is when Red Emberz, they know that they have advantages. 2 down on the side of Night Sharks. They're going to try to move up and try to punish them hard for it. And this will be the first checkpoint. Definitely cleared. Maybe the lead change coming up.
Yeah, for sure. And I gotta say, like, Love Try up there with the squeeze was in a fantastic position. Zolo as well to support him. They're up in bats, that key position that you want to control to get past second checkpoint. Second check is usually the hardest part of the map to get past, I find. But if 2 very powerful members up in bats already, like, that second checkpoint's gonna fall like nothing. Night Sharks can't get to the key defensive position they need to stop this tower. Because of that, Red Emberz are just running away with this game. They're past the second checkpoint, threatening the third. Night Sharks is a member down. They're forced to throw everything they have at the tower, but it seems like nothing can stop them. Red Emberz is just running right down, so close to a knockout, but it seems like Night Sharks finally able to regroup, stop their momentum. Red Emberz are 2 down. Both of them stuck in bats here, although Corona's gonna find 2 there. Absolutely huge play. That might be what they need to keep this push going for just a little bit longer. Finding another as well.
Yeah, Corona Beer with a nice little triple. In fact, completely reasserted dominance of this area there for Red Emberz. And now Night Sharks, Night Sharks having to play catch up here for just a few more moments. Again, Love Charles Trizuka's just landing whichever way you go. And it's 5, and it's gonna be 5 more remaining. They take out everybody else, and it's effectively GG, well played. Unless these snipers are gonna land on them, Fallful is right on this tower there. Love Charles is gonna be the one gonna be the one trying to fight them out here, as the rest of Night Sharks have just respawned, but Love Trials on a mission. Love Trials on a mission, able to take out 2. It's one member alive on both sides. Corona Beer cannot get back to the tower in time, and what I thought would be a certain wipeout here, Nikki. Night Sharks get to live another day, but it's 2 points remaining for Red Emberz. Night Sharks with a mountain to climb.
Yeah, that was an absolute bloodbath. I was right there with you. I was, getting a knockout with the towers right next to, like, the last stretch. Like, normally you'd say, yeah, the game's over, right? But Army there on the ZF Charger made a beautiful, desperate last-second shot. Got the Tower Rider, and that gave Night Sharks just a little bit of breathing room to regroup and stop the tower in the 11th hour, as they say. So Night Sharks, they're hanging on by a thread. Like, they're still in this game, but if only a little over a minute left and such a long way to go before they take the lead. Like, they effectively need a knockout here in order to win. And of how aggressive Red Emberz has been playing, it's going to be extremely difficult for Night Sharks to break through their tempo and, like, get any momentum to get such a huge push going. Especially as Red Emberz seems to be gearing up for yet another push, threatening the knockout once again.
I mean, Red Emberz is just kicking it up to another gear. They will get. You noted there earlier. The tempo is just so fast out of Red Emberz. Even with the comp where the range is really just the squeezer and maybe the ink brush at that point. They're just running circles around Night Sharks. Night Sharks is just trying to find answers right now. They got 2 specials that they need to take advantage of, but until they are met with Corona, who takes out 2 of them, at least they picked up the cooler from earlier to keep the specials, if anything. But Red Emberz are going to be okay with this. It's 25 seconds left to go, and all that they really need to do is just try to salt more time, make it difficult for Night Sharks to push this tower up. I think they'll be content playing this one passively here with about 15 seconds left to go on the clock here, Nikki. This could be set up for Night Sharks to have one last hopeful push for them.
Yeah, and honestly, Night Sharks they're in pretty good shape here. They have 1 member in bats. Finding a pick on the Tri-Slosher, Vice here's in a fantastic position. If he could hold on to it for just a little bit longer, they could have the makings of a great push. But unfortunately, the Zuka is just going to come in, find the last 2 members there for the delayed wipe, and by the time that last one could jump in and try to keep the push going, it was too little too late. Red Emberz is going to take game 2, going up 2-0 in the set so far.
Yeah, and you covered it very well there, Nikki. This is the dominance out of Red Emberz. Again, it really is showing why they are the #1 overall seeded team coming into the league. The problem, and it starts to show with their gameplay, their style. You cannot afford to make too many missteps against this team. From what it appears, anytime they land a Trizuka or 2, they get 1 or 2. They're gonna be the ones that's like, all right, now we got 2 of them. Now let's just go ahead and punish the rest of the team. And Night Sharks was just having to play catch up the entire time, trying to find any answers to any of the Trizuka shots, if anything, on that front. 5 seconds left to go here. Again, you noted too, great position for the Nautilus, but they just took one too many whale damage, effectively speaking, and that was just going to signal the end. And I'm wanting to see what the response here for Night Sharks is going to be, because Red Emberz is just playing on another level.
Yeah, no, like right now, the ball is very much in Night Sharks' court. I mean, they're down 2 games. By now, it's clear to me, I think, that they need to make some kinds of changes to their strategy or comp if they want any chance of turning this set around. I mean, going down 2 games, it's not the end of the world. Like, anything can happen, right? We still have 5 games to go, potentially. But right now, like, Red Emberz' unmatched tempo is just too much for Night Sharks to handle, it seems like. So we'll see if they make any adjustments going into Game 3 on Sturgeon Rainmaker. A fairly middle-of-the-road map mode, I'd say. I don't know, Keelan, do you have any particular thoughts on this one?
This is definitely one of the more middle-of-the-road map modes, if only because there's just better Rainmaker maps that we often see in the rotation for the most part. So this one doesn't really get that much playtime, at least from my general opinion. I would love to see if Night Sharks has anything there in their back pocket for the most part. Their Red Emberz, I'd imagine, is just going to stick with the same 4. It has worked way too well for them, effectively speaking, that I want that they're probably going, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same with Night Sharks though. So if Night Sharks are going to keep the same weapons that they dished on in Game 2, this has to be total execution change overall for Night Sharks. As everybody's just going to be trying to race down mid, I'm going to be paying attention to is how this first push starts to pop, as Red Emberz is just all over this right out of the gate. They do lose out on Love Trial, so they probably can't push up too far ahead, but Zol is able to take out the Nautilus. If anything, it's 2 down right out of the gate. There's same thing for Night Sharks, but it's just Army who's alive, and Red Emberz still goes out on top with these trades.
Yeah, and that's really not what you want to see if you're Night Sharks. I mean, Red Emberz, they took the space there with Army being the only one left. He's forced to fall back, and that meant the spinner, that key location, was completely undefended for Corona and Zolo and all of their other Slayers just to rush that spinner, get up on top of the Greats there, and just rain a torrent of damage down on the defending members of Night Sharks. So Red Embers are going to have a lot of space here. They're going to get a pretty substantial push going down to 60 points, just shy of that first checkpoint, although it does look like Night Sharks' defense started to pick up. They're going to go down, losing a lot of members, but they were coolered, so it's not going to be too big a deal. I say his army is actually in a really bad spot, although the Rainmaker is going to reset, so that should buy them the critical amount of time they need to maybe regroup, reorganize, and try to break through. I've said it a million times, but try to break through the unmatched tempo of Red Embers. Although it's looking like they're opting to go the other route this time, taking Night Sharks a bit off guard there. It's only Army over here to try to stop the tower, although Corona's right behind him, and he doesn't seem to realize. The spinner's down as well. This could be a huge push for Red Embers.
Yeah, Red Embers, the way they're playing fast, and tempo-wise is going to matter a whole lot as they wipe out everybody else. Forget it, effectively, Nikki. Red Embers just made that one look incredibly clean in the last moment, and Red Embers is just running away with this one. It's a 3-0 set lead for them coming into Game 4.
I feel like Red Embers there, they did something really smart that you don't see terribly often in Rainmaker, where they were fluidly and, like, on the fly, basically, changing which route they were going. Like, initially they tried to push the first checkpoint on right, and then when that wasn't working, they immediately switched over to the first checkpoint on top left, and then as soon as they encountered opposition past that first checkpoint, they dropped it to the right and went up the ramp again. Because of that, Night Sharks never knew where they were being hit from. They just couldn't keep up. Every time they rotated around to try to stop the main push, it's like, oh wait, there's someone going the other way now. Like, where are they even coming from? It was just so much. And we're seeing a bit of that in this replay. It seems like Red Embers wanted to go through the spinner, but they realized there's a lot of opposition that way. Let's just go the other way. And by the time Night Sharks realized what was going on, Zolo and Corona were already going up that top left position, gets behind the two defending members of Night Sharks, gets the wipeout, and from there, that final checkpoint was left wide open.
I was trying to figure out. I was like, oh, it's like it all happened at once, and I had a second look real quickly there as well. I was like, oh my goodness, they just had great control of that top left area, and that was pretty much all she wrote. Night Sharks and that wipeout was just like, all right, you're done. We're moving on to the next one. And if you're gonna have one map left in the tank, and that being Robo-Rom and Clan Blitz, I mean, let's be real. Red Embers on another level right now, almost breakneck speed. High, fast-paced tempo, if you will, and the fact that they're just punishing you left and right. I wonder if what has to change for Night Sharks. That's really the ultimate question here, because they ran the same comps the first 3 maps, and they're basically one map away from losing the set overall here, Nikki.
Yeah, I mean, Night Sharks, they're on their last leg now. Like, they've really got to make some big changes if they want to try to turn this set around. The only thing I could potentially think of is maybe opting for a backless comp, because right now Night Sharks they're running the backless comp, and they're doing it beautifully, you know, like having no charger, no splatling, no anything, right? They have that Squeezer as their most passive player, and they're making it work. It gives them, like, that backless comp is a huge reason of why they're able to play so fast and aggressive. And I feel like with Night Sharks trying to run a dedicated backline and Army's charger, it's really difficult for them to keep up with that. In my experience, the best way to fight against a hyper-aggressive team like Red Embers is to try to fight fire with fire and match their aggression. So maybe that's what Night Sharks needs to do. But I mean, I don't know. Like, speaking as someone who actually played with Army way back in the Study Abroad tournament, geez, months ago by now, I know they're a pretty dedicated backline player, so I'm not sure if they're willing to make those changes. Maybe someone else has to. Okay, they actually are going to pull out heavy edit, so Night Sharks is opting for the backless comp here. They have effectively 2 mid lines, 1 passive one out of the Headed, and then 1 aggressive mid line out of the Nautilus. That might be the change they need in order to have a bit more forward aggressive potential to match Red Embers.
Here's something I'm curious to as both teams are picking up clamps. What do you make of the custom junior from Night Sharks? Because they just dished that one out. They have the wave break and the torpedoes now.
Yeah, that's certainly bold. The one thing I could think of is, obviously, Corona's Brush has been absolutely devastating this entire game. I feel like we haven't been mentioning it much because the Zukas coming from Red Embers have been taking a lot of the spotlight. But Corona's Brush is one of Red Embers' most deadly assets. And the marking from the torpedoes and the wave breaker, that could go a long way in keeping this brush under control. Because an unchecked brush, if you don't have eyes on them, they could come out of nowhere and get a wipe like it's nothing. So maybe that's that might be the thought process behind them running Custom Junior. It's definitely not a bad idea. There's actually a lot of good intent behind it. But how it's going to play out, we're going to have to see. Custom Junior isn't a weapon you see terribly often anymore, especially up in the higher divisions.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I'd be curious to see if they can make that one work. You mentioned before, Corona's just right has been the main member that's just been causing a lot of problems. Speaking of Corona, gets the assist on top of it too. You alluded to it earlier where the Trizuka have found so much value is the reason why we put a lot of eyes on them. But Corona's also been the third person to match them point for point there. As Red Emberz again is doing the exact same thing. Yes, they're 2 downs. This is just gonna have to be the escape sequence for this group. They're just gonna have to reset here for just a bit more. Zolo trying to see if they can find value with out of the Trizukas. No, not quite yet. In fact, going down for their efforts. So that's a much needed stuff that Night Sharks needed. Night Sharks do take out 2 by the end of it, but you still have to respect Corona and Love Child there, who have been menaces in their respective weapons there. Corona picks up the whale, but is gonna opt to just escape for just a tiny bit more. 20 clams in the clam economy. Make that a down Nautilus. Somebody else has to pick it up.
Yeah, Night Sharks are in a fantastic position right now. They're in that forward holding position up on the ramp, although an unchecked flank from Corona, this could be bad for them. Finds one, can they find another one? They're gonna effectively trade there, leaving just the Nautilus here, although the Nautilus is still putting in work. They're holding this forward position. They're gonna have to save that ball, try not to die to the squeezer, and it's looking like they got some jumps in for their team. They're desperately trying to hold on to this forward position, because right now Night Sharks really are in a great position. Like they're on Red Emberz ramp, right? They have a ball ready. They have complete control of the economy, actually. Red Emberz has 0 clams compared to their 17. They're gonna score the ball. They only need a few clams to take the lead here, although it's looking like Fawful is electing to fall back instead of effectively diving in to get those clams in. So they're gonna play things a bit more patient here. Not a bad play. I mean, there's plenty of time left in this game, which would give him time to get a second push going. And notably, just one more power claim will absolutely take the lead no matter what. So playing it safe there, probably the right thing to do.
That's definitely one of those cases where I can definitely understand playing it safe in that regard. Just trying to see if they can build themselves up again once more. But you also have to understand where Corona is going to be at all times. Nautilus, by the way, does go down on top of this, so this is going to be Red Emberz. They might be looking to shine. They're moving up very fast. In fact, the Trizuka, I think, found another one, and this is Red Emberz getting another push in, but they go 2 down, and Cliff somehow gets more value, unbelievably so. In fact, the jumps do come in. They're able to move up just like that. Zolo cannot get that free clam to get cashed in right out of the gate. It was the right idea, but not extra points for that matter. It's 58 points remaining. They build a slightly bigger lead, still a little bit of more time, but you're gonna need more than just the one power clam if you're Night Sharks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Night Sharks, they're going to have the work cut out for them here. We're approaching the back half of the game, only about 1 minute and 15 seconds left to go. Although Red Emberz is 3 down here, with the last member being fairly far back in their own spawn. So this is going to give Night Sharks a lot of space to run up take. They're going to get 1 ball in. 1 more ball will take the lead here. They're going to get it in. That's a fairly decent lead. And with Red Emberz being 2 down, they have the room to get a few more clams in here if they really want to. I say as Red Emberz rallies very aggressively, they're going to take out the last remaining members. Love Trial here is he's not wasting any time, immediately running to the opponent's side, finding one, finding another as well. That was a great rally. His teammates came in to support them. Really good stuff. And with finding another one as well, oh my god, he's going insane.
Love Trial's going nuts right now.
So many balls, so many clams. They're going to get 1 in. Gonna get a second ball in. They're going to take the lead. And it looks like Love Child, throughout all of that, they somehow stayed alive, meaning they're safe to just fall back, hold mid here, and then try to stall out this game for the last 20 seconds.
Love Charles just went nuts. I know I may have been trying to interrupt you there, but Love Charles just went nuts. That's all you could really say about that one. With just perfect squeezer play, just outmaneuvering Night Sharks all across the board. You're gonna need more than just 1 clam. You're gonna need 1 plus 7 for the lead, but you have to win out all of your fights. You are guaranteed OT. And Zolo's kind of stuck in no man's land, runs into the torpedo. That's gonna be 1 member down. Zolo has gone down on top of it. 3 members alive. You still gotta respect where Corona is. There's the cooler being dished out. They take out the side Tri-Slosher. Love Charles on a flank right now. They do get 1 clam, one of those clams in, but they are going to lose everybody in the process. The wipeout is there, and that is going to be the tie game. They will not get a 1 clam in. They're going to be just short, I believe, as the extra point is going to be added on top of Night Sharks, and what was so close for Night Sharks, they're not going to be able to extend the set. Red Emberz completes the sweep 4-0 to win out this best of 7.
Oh, it's absolutely tragic to lose like that 1 clam short. Not only were you 1 clam short, you lost in a tie, because obviously when there's a tied score, the game favors whoever got to that score first. Like, just an absolutely brutal way to lose, but it is what it is. Red Emberz, you know, they're the top-seeded team this season. and they're showing that it's not without merit. I mean, Night Sharks was they're a very well respected team. They're seasoned Division 1 veterans, and Night Sharks 4-0'd them, and like in that 4-0, 3 of the games they were very decisive wins. To Night Sharks' credit, that last game was far and away the closest one they had. I think going for the backless comp was the switch they needed in order to keep up with Red Emberz a bit more. Like, this game was unbelievably close, but it seems like the adaptation came a little bit too late. So Red Emberz, they're gonna take the win, and with that win, they're gonna win the match 4-0.
I was almost out of words for the fact that was a tie game. I didn't even realize it until I saw the score there too. Literally, just one clan was the big difference by the end of things there. But to your credit, there's a reason why Red Emberz is pretty much your #1 overall team coming into Division 1, as we are going to be loading up for basically the play all 7, the CCA tradition, if you will. But before we talk about this one, I want to note here, Nikki, the keys to victory is when Key fights against their charger players. Did that just very beautifully. Try to play as fast try to play a fast and aggressive comp over all their opponents in spades. It showed tremendously well, and come in playing with a good mental. They rolled that momentum all the way home in the first 4 games there, Nikki, that they pretty much checked every box they had in keys to victory. It was just so expertly played by Red Emberz throughout.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as like you said it brilliantly. Like, they had a plan, and they stuck to that plan exceedingly well, right? Like, Red Emberz, like they're just an amazing team. Like, there's not much else I could add to that. Like, who boy, they're really like this is the first of 3 matches we're gonna have watching them, and they're really setting the tone early. Like, they don't like to mess around. Like, they show up, like they clock in on time, clean the floor for their opponent, and then leave, no questions asked. It's unreal.
Yep, and it's kind of crazy too, because this team is basically running. I think back to a season when Florida Gulf Coast basically all ran 3 in a row there too, and their Red Emberz is trying to do the exact same thing. They're starting off this best of 7 in dominant fashion, which is a great start for them. As we're about to load in, basically the rest of this will be a play all 7. Rest of this is just going to be a little bit for fun, not much to count for the stats other than the 96 Gal Deca, which we're just going to slightly judge for about 2 seconds here. But yeah, no, Red Emberz have looked so good coming into this one. I want to see if Red Emberz can keep this one up, because it will be a mentally taxing back-to-back that they're gonna have to deal with, as we're gonna probably be seeing the point not controlled yet until Night Sharks gets the first cap.
Yeah. I want to note, as you just mentioned, that 96 deco from the side of Red Emberz. I'm really interested to see what they can do with that, especially because I know Red Emberz, they do have a 96 in their weapon pools, but as I understood it, it was actually Zolo who pulled it out occasionally, not Love God, so that's definitely interesting to see coming out of them. It plays pretty similarly to Squeezer, so, I mean, it's definitely not without good merit, but also just pulling out in splat zones. Typically, these days, you only ever see 96 in Clan Blitz for the Kraken Cheese, so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with it. The Dolly's, unfortunately, just barely slipping off the map there. You don't like to see that happen, but we've all been there, no shame, of course.
Yeah, I feel like I've had a lot of moments where, you know, you're just trying to make a move, just trying to move, and then all of a sudden you just fall off the map there. And we all been there. Happens to the best of us, of course, in the Anarchy. And to that note, Red Emberz, by the way, going to be getting cap of this zone. They're going to be able to take down some of these points. And it feels like even with this game 5 that we're about to witness here, they're still playing with the same pacing. The group's just playing crazy for the most part, as it is going to be 2 members down. For sure, the lead's going to be changed, if anything, but they're going to lose out this fight. They're going to have to just reset for another day. But hey, why you're going to get the lead? You got the lead. Let's see if you can fight this one back. Night Sharks wants to say otherwise.
Not just the lead, but a delayed wipe there as well. That's going to give Night Sharks a beautiful opportunity to set up on Red Ember's stack, that key defensive position that you want to try to lock out the enemy team from. If they play their cards well here, they can just hold that position and go for like the classic lockout on this map mode. The Duelie's slipping off the map again. Absolutely tragic that we keep catching that on camera. I feel bad commenting on it, but I mean, what else are we here to do, right? A Kraken coming out from Love God, trying to find some picks, create some space for Red Emberz to try to retake the zone. They really need that zone flip. Night Sharks has taken the lead, and with no penalty, like, they're really running away with this game.
Yeah, Night Sharks able to win a lot of these fights, and Zol is going to try to stay alive, and it will be 2 down. They're probably not going to be enough ink. Maybe not. Love Charles is going to be and Corona Beer are going to be the ones contesting for the zone. They may be able to get this flip here momentarily, because it is going to buy enough time for Red Emberz to get all the respawns in, and they lose Corona Anywho, 4 members up for Night Sharks, and this is just gonna be furious painting around the zone. It's stuck into this neutral state for quite some time. It's gonna be 2 members going down, trying to vote, and Zola going on top of it, and the Kraken's just gonna be the Kraken of no use at this point. Night Sharks will be happy to know that they at least won a map here in the best in this 5th game. It is unfortunately coming off of a 4-0 set win for Red Emberz. So, but Night Sharks will still feel really good that they won it.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good morale boost for Night Sharks, I'd say. I mean, it doesn't count for any statistical purposes, of course. We're in the playoff 7, but just knowing that given the right map mode or the right comp, they can take a game over Red Emberz. Like, that's got to be a good feeling. Yeah, Red Emberz. That's got to be a good feeling. I feel like Red Emberz there, towards the end of that game, they prioritized kills a little more than the objective. There was a situation there where it was just the ZF to try to paint the zone against an entire team of Red Emberz players. And despite that charger being horribly outpainted, they managed to hold on to the zone, like keep it neutral for just long enough for their teammates to jump back in and then keep it contested while they ran it down for the knockout. So I feel like if Red Emberz focused the zone a bit more in that last stretch of the game, we'd probably have a bit of a longer game on our hands. But regardless, Night Sharks, they played the objective very well there, and they got the win over them. So solid stuff from them.
I mean, Night Sharks, it has to feel good, honestly. If in a CCA, of course, the CCA tradition in the playoff 7, you still want to at least win. I get the sense, Nikki, you may have been inside there too, where you still want to win any maps that you definitely can, because you're being swept 4-0 is never going to feel good. So at least I'd imagine Nikki, maybe from speaking from past experience, it might be worthwhile to say, you know what, even though this map win may not count towards the statistics, it's still, we at least have taken a map off of them by the end of it. Hey, I mean, at least it's going to boost the morale, right?
Yeah, like taking one for the road, like it's always a good feeling, as you said. I mean, the stats sheet and like the rule books might say that we lost to 4-0, but in our hearts, we know we won that game.
Yep. It's always a great feeling there. I'm still loving the fact that the custom tiers are still going out as Love Trial. I need a second here. Delzer dually alert from Love Trial. By the way, with opening Gambit.
That's bold. Probably going for some cheeky assist from the Ink Mines. Not about merit. I'm of the opinion that opening Gambit's actually a very underrated ability. But I digress. I mean, it seems to be working out for them. Actually, no, I'm looking at the wrong players. What am I saying? The Dowser Dualies went down very early. But now the script seems to be flipped. Night Sharks is down a player. A very aggressive Crab Tank on the left side there. We got constant back and forth this game. Seems like neither team's able to find a clear-cut advantage. Although with Night Sharks going 3 down and the last one just jumping out, that's basically an effective wipe for Red Emberz. So they're going to be able to set up very nicely and start to threaten this first checkpoint.
I want to see if the weapons that they've dished out here are going to get a lot of value. In this game, you see the Rubber Blaster Deco and the 52 Gal on top of it too, which were weapons we did not see in the first 4 games, so they're able to make this one work. They may have something that they could use down the road there, as they're going to be clearing out the second checkpoint that usually very tough to contest. Actually, maybe not. Corona's actually going to just escape from the right-hand side. Clip's going to be the one to jump in it. It's going to be 2 ticks away from clearing the checkpoint. They're not going to be able to retouch it at all, so it's just going to be slowly resetting. In fact, losing 3 on top of it. They know where the Dowser Dualies are from Love Trial, and that will be the tower resetting. They'll be content, to take 32 points remaining.
Yeah, but the Dowser Dualies are kind of behind them, like in a really awkward position. It's going to force the Charger to try to jump out, but they're going to get picked off very nicely by the Rapid there. Night Sharks are going to be 3 down. That's going to give Red Emberz another chance to start pushing, especially with the Dualies still up in their grill up on 10th. The Dualies are going to eventually get picked out, but that distraction effectively gave Red Emberz a lot of time to set up and take a lot of space. At Inkjet Online, I believe I heard that. Maybe not. No, the Blaster's over on tower still.
Yeah.
Defensive Crab Tank. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Continue on.
I mean, I was just wrapping up that thought. It seems like Night Sharks are starting to turn things around, finding 2. They're going to take a lot of space in mid here, maybe gearing up for a push of their own. We're going to have to see what they do here.
Yeah. I'm gonna be curious to see if Night Sharks is able to at least keep up with this momentum for the most part. But unfortunately, losing 2 is not gonna help matters in the grand scheme of things. To make that 3. So this will be Red Emberz flipping the script on the other side. Then now we get to see maybe more coming out of this one. The fact they're able to take out Army, the super delayed one, if you will, and as this continues to move up just ahead. Correction, that was a correction there. The whales actually just took out one. I think it might be one of the other whales. I did mention Corona earlier, but it doesn't look like to be the case. Either way, though, this tower is approaching the second checkpoint, but they have lost 2 on top of it. It's going to be 3 down. The brush has gone down on top of it. It's a wipeout. Night Sharks hold successfully on defense. Now they're going to try to get as much territory as they can back.
Yeah, that's a great wipeout from the side of Night Sharks. It's a bit unfortunate that the crab from the dualies is going to be a bit wasted because the instant they popped it, the last on Red Embers ended up going down anyways. This game has been giving me more than a few reminders of the Inkblot TC game, where Night Sharks are actually getting, they're getting a lot of good picks, and they're keeping Red Embers stalled for quite some time. But it seems like every time they try to make a push of their own, they just get picked off too early. Like, right here, yet again, they had a bit of a push going for a little bit, but then the combination of the Inkjet and the Brush from Corona just come in, force all of them out, leaving the last one Army on charge. They have no option but to fall all the way back to their side of spawn, giving Red Embers all the space in order to get yet another push going, as they still continue to try to push through that second checkpoint.
Yeah, the second checkpoint has just been very pesky for Red Embers for the most part, so I want to see if Red Embers will be able to break it through, but they do lose 2. We're kind of stuck into this neutral state until the Nautilus takes out 2. That's going to help matters a bunch. Love Charles has gone down as part of it, so now this is going to be the first checkpoint approach here for Night Sharks. Now let's see if they can clear out that first checkpoint. No specials online, by the way, other than Corona's Whale, which will be popped right out of the gate. They're gonna basically be dispersing Night Sharks everywhere at this point. Vice is still pressuring out the rest of Red Embers there. They take out 2. This tower should be able to clear out the first checkpoint here, unless this flank is successful there, which it will be. Fallful and Vice both go down, and this tower is resetting once more.
Yeah, like the past 30 seconds of this game have been an absolute bloodbath. Night Sharks are desperately trying to push past that first checkpoint. They came so close, but Red Embers is just not letting up with the constant pressure. A crab on tower. Red Embers is stuck in a 2-down situation. They could have the potential, Night Sharks here, to get them stuck in a bit of a feed stagger loop. That seems to be exactly what's happening. Red Embers is stuck coming in 2 by 2. That's going to give Night Sharks a lot of tempo as they try to push past this first checkpoint. It looks like they're gonna get it, and with only 10 seconds left in the game, they're gonna have one more chance to try to take back the lead. Red Ember's lead is not that big over them, although Night Sharks are gonna go 2 down, make that 3 down. It's just the junior. They're gonna get picked off, and Red Embers are going to sweep in, take the tower, and with that, take the game.
Yeah, game 6 in favor of Red Embers. There were some signs of life by the end of things there, Nikki coming out of that one, but it didn't look like it meant too much in the grand scheme of things as Red Embers was able to get themselves reset. I gotta say though, at least I applaud the rest of Red Embers for just trying out a few different weapons to see what would work. There in that one. I'm not sure about the Dowser Dualies opening gambit. I think they may have want to reset that one back just a tiny bit, but otherwise it was pretty much well played from both of them. More so, Red Embers gained the first punch. Night Sharks tried to do everything to respond, but I got the feeling there, Nikki, that in that 6th game, Night Sharks were trying maybe a bit there to play it slow and methodically, but Red Embers didn't really give them time.
I mean, it was a really valiant effort, I thought. That last push Night Sharks had going, it was a really good push, and they were dangerously close to taking the lead in the 11th hour. But I mean, Red Embers, if we go back to that third key to victory of theirs, just have a good mental, keep a level head at all times. I mean, it really showed at the end of that game. That Night Sharks was dangerously close to getting that fabled last-second overtime comeback. But Night Sharks, they didn't panic. They played their defense really well, came together as a team, and forced they got the wipeout on Night Sharks, forced them out the old-fashioned way without using any GG specials, unless you count Killer Whale, which is debatably a GG special. It's not a true one like Booyah or Strikes. So Red Embers, they weren't panicking, they weren't scrambling, they played super well and super tight there.
And I gotta give them credit too for the most part, because they're basically playing weapons that I'd imagine they don't normally play in a traditional CCA setting. For the most part, they're Dowser Dualies, their Rapid Blaster deck, which is still very good. Just find out what they want to use at that point in time. Same with the 52 in that regard. So I do appreciate the experimentation, just trying to make that one work overall there. And hey, it worked out beautifully. They were able to win the 6th game. The 7th game, by the way, coming up in the CCA tradition that they got. Night Sharks, of course, would be happy to take this map home, just to at least end on a very good note for them. They're going back to traditionals here with Nifty with Splat Dualies. I am just noticing though that not only do you have a 96 gal deck on the side of Red Embers, they're deciding to say, no, let's get a Nautilus with triple splash on and a regular splat charger. The splat charger probably making the most sense out of these changes.
I mean, yeah, like a lot of these new weapon picks from the side of Red Emberz do make a lot of sense. We do finally see Zolo's 96 this time, not Love Gods. And on Rainmaker, Kraken has a lot of good applications, so I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And while we're talking about good applications in Rainmaker, the vacuum from that V-Charger on the side of Red Emberz is going to be absolutely vital to pushing through the main choke past the first checkpoint. That choke point, I always say, is one of the most brutal choke points in the game, and vacuum is one of very few things that can consistently get through it with limited to no issues. Although, right now, Nightsharks are playing really aggressively and really admirably, taking the first checkpoint quickly. They're going to try to set up for another push, but the Rainmaker's kind of stuck in the corner here, especially for vacuum, preventing them from escaping. Although they're doing a fantastic job at staying alive, the Nautilus was taking a really long time to pick them off there, and they're going to get picked off themselves. So, I mean, Red Emberz, they're going to eventually stop that push and have manpower over Nightsharks. But it definitely took Red Emberz a lot of time to, like, clear them out of there, which just means, like, Red Emberz, like, they're already 2 down again. One of them is stuck carrying the Rainmaker. They're going to get picked off quickly here. The NZAP is going to trade, although with them being cooler, that trade doesn't actually matter too much.
Yeah, with all the trades that are basically happening there, as you mentioned, with the cooler, just going to be a quick respawn, just make the jumps and call it a day. And I'd like to see if Nitrix can be able to keep this one up. They do take out 2. That is an all 79 battle going down, but Zolo on the Kraken just shuts down this Rainmaker holder, and that's all it's going to be for Zolo there. But that's so valuable nevertheless. And they got the Ink Pack ready to go, so even if you do get the pushes being thrown in there, the Ink Pack's going to be there to counter it. And 2 members, by the way, have gone. I mean, they make that the 3rd. Just the lone dualies around, and that dualies has gone down on top of the delayed wipeout in favor of Red Emberz. Successful defense. They got 3 specials available if they want to use it.
Yeah, I mean, Red Emberz are in fantastic shape right now. The 96 getting picked off there is unfortunate. I mean, it seems like they're peeking those sniper sightlines a bit too aggressively. But now, taking the first checkpoint, Stolf has triple splashdown online. This could be big for them. They're going to use it to get the quick pop. Taking it, it does seem like they're going to play things a bit more patiently here. The Rainmaker is kind of alone. It was really unfortunate that the Splat Charger died shortly before they took the first checkpoint, because if the Charger just stayed alive for a bit longer and held onto their vacuum, they could have potentially used it to get a much bigger push there.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering is that they could, if they were to use it in that right point in time, it was like maybe they could have definitely gotten a lot more points. But instead, all we can say there, it's 53 points remain. Red Emberz not able to get the lead change just like that. Bombs just being thrown in there to deal with the crab tank, if anything. Rainmaker's been popped. Actually, could be picked up almost right away. It's a push to the left-hand side. And we got to see if Red Emberz is going to be all over it. But Nifty misses the jump, which buys Corona Beer enough time to just drive by and say, all right, there you go. Splat all over you in that regard, and that will be Red Emberz at least getting a nice little stop there. I appreciate the effort there from Nifty as the triple splashdown takes out place and Nifty on top of it for Red Emberz. I appreciate the effort from Nifty. It just didn't work.
I mean, yeah, like it was a good play in theory. Them missing the jump, going for the left push there was a bit unfortunate. Although, frankly, if the Nautilus already up there to like stop them, I'm not sure how many points they've gotten there. But we have a fantastic push from Red Emberz here. They pushed the Rainmaker down to 41, gonna lose in a tie again. Nitrox are gonna have a lot of room here. They desperately need to get the Rainmaker out of here. Stuck in a corner. This is really not where they need to be. They need to get the Rainmaker out of there right now. Otherwise, Red Emberz are gonna have a lot of potential to come back in here and get a quick lead. Picks are trading left and right. It's an absolute bloodbath right now as both teams are just grappling for control over the Rainmaker right now.
Yeah, that's what. That Rainmaker pickup from Nifty was a bit bold considering where Red Emberz were around that corner. But at the end of the day, they still kept the Rainmaker down there. They're going to allow this to reset, which is going to be still very good for Nightsharks. That was in a very precarious position. They do hold lead here at this point. Now they do have to reset this Rainmaker and have to carry it all the way back close to the finishing line. But Nightsharks, they lose too. But the Corona Beer has gone down on top of it. It will be clipped on Red Emberz picking this one up. It is going to be 3. There's Zolo with the Kraken just flying to the Trip Strikes. The Trip Strikes can just easily be ignored, but that is a nice pickup onto the Charger. The Nautilus 79 and the Ink Brush all going down. Zolo is just a lone Kraken waiting for their teammates to get the Rainmaker slammed home to no success. What a successful hold that was, and Nightsharks just trying to buy out the remaining 17 seconds.
Yeah, Nightshark's defense there was absolutely beautiful. They had Red Emberz threw every single special they had at him, it felt like, and despite that, Nightsharks, they held on to the, they held their ground really well. I feel like the Kraken was a bit too aggressive, running a bit too far forward, but the time's gonna run all the way down to 0. Red Emberz isn't gonna get overtime. They were the last ones to touch it within the last 15 seconds, and that means Nightsharks is gonna take another game for the road.
Hey, if you're gonna end a CCA tradition with the play all sevens, at least take the last game at home. At the very least, get that morale boost, and then not end in a dreaded 7-0, if you will, for that one. Night Sharks playing that one very nicely. I gotta commend Red Emberz. At least several pushes where you would feel like the lead would get changed in an instant, but Night Sharks held the line real nicely by the thick of things. And hey, great work for Night Sharks, able to at least win maps 5 and 7 in the CCA tradition. Red Emberz take home the 6th. Official scoreline, though, is 4-0 in favor of Red Emberz. Red Emberz starts that first set strong. The next two is going to be waiting for them in this back-to-back for them, which we will continue on with the CCA. But for now, Nikki, we're going to wrap things up as we still have some time before the next set. But either way, though, Nikki, it's a pleasure commentating with you.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, the pleasure is all mine. Like, frankly,
it's all yours. It's all.
No, it's
sure,
fun. Like, I mean, you know, I
As
wouldn't do it
this-
so much if I didn't like it.
That is very true. Take a look at the shelter. Decorations. We got ourselves. Oh my goodness. The chemistry tubes. And going back to chemistry class for me. And a checked bag. I know that checked bag could be going somewhere sometime down the road. Maybe our resident producer is gonna store some stuff there. Get that going with them in their travels. Producer, I hope you know I hope you know what to pack in that bag down the road. All that being said, always fun commentating with you, Nikki. By the way, where can the people find you?
Yeah, sure. So I don't do a lot of stuff on social media. It's not my kind of thing. However, if you do like the sound of my dumb voice, I recycle this line over and over and over again, so forgive me if it's a bit repetitive. But if you do like the sound of my dumb voice, you could go subscribe to my YouTube channel at Nikki. I have a mission to upload every single collegiate Splatoon VOD I'm involved in. If you like the content you see on this stream, you'll probably like some of the stuff that I make. Hit all the buttons that help me. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the ones. But otherwise, I don't have too much to plug, so how about you, Keon? Where can the lovelies find you?
You guys can all now find me Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky, of course, Keon2570. Twitter and Blue Sky for the nonsense, Twitch for the variety. I do a lot of different games, of course, on my Twitch channel for that one. As usual, this will end my segment of the back-to-back. There, you'll get a fresh set of comms to continue on the back-to-back for Red Emberz here, as they are on their quest to finish out 3 games this week. There. By the way, huge shoutouts to Vapor, who has been an excellent producer. Vapor will ride this one out with you the rest of the way. But with Nikki and of course producer Vapor still continuing on, I'm Keon saying thanks for watching Red Emberz versus Night Sharks. More CCA action is going to be coming back to you in just a moment.